So let's go over 7 brand new practice test questions for the TSI. So a student actually asked me if I could give them extra examples. So a couple of these examples appear on my practice tests. I'll leave the link in the description box. But some of these are completely brand new. So let's go ahead and go through them one at a time so that you can feel like you guys really have enough practice with each type of problem. So one says Tim bought 2 drinks and 3 sandwiches for $7.75. Nicole bought 4 drinks and 2 sandwiches for $10.50. How much would an order of 2 sandwiches and 1 drink cost? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a statement for Tim. So Tim is buying, first I'm in the corner, I'm going to write drinks and S for sandwiches. And now I'm going to go ahead and make a statement. So Tim bought 2 drinks, so 2D, and 3 sandwiches for $7.75. So 2 drinks plus 3 sandwiches equals $7.75. Nicole bought 4 drinks and 2 sandwiches, so now I'm going to make a statement for Nicole. 4 drinks and 2 sandwiches, so 4 drinks and 2 sandwiches for $10.50. Okay, so because they have 2 variables in them, we want to go ahead and try to eliminate one of the variables. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, you see that I like to make boxes over each one of the sections. Those boxes just help me to know that I'm going to add those boxes together. Whatever's in the box, I'm going to add. And what I'm hoping for is that when I add one of those boxes together, one of the variables eliminate. So just as a review, if I want something to eliminate in the same box, it has to be the same number, just opposite. So if it's 2D on the top, then negative 2D needs to be on the bottom. When you add them together, they cancel each other out and the D's disappear. So I need the same thing to happen to either the D's in this one or the S's in that one. So how are we going to go ahead and solve this? Well, I can easily see that if I multiply everything on the top by negative 2, this 2D will become a negative 4D and it would eliminate. So let's go ahead and multiply the whole top equation by this negative 2. So negative 2 times 2D is negative 4D. Negative 2 times 3S is negative 6S. And negative 2 times 775 is negative 1550. Then we're going to bring down that second equation as is. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw our boxes again. And now we're going to hope that one of those boxes will eliminate itself. So go ahead and add everything in the boxes. Negative 4D plus 4D, those cancel out. Negative 6S plus 2S is 4S. And then negative 1550 plus 1050 is negative 5. Sorry, that was a negative 4S. And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 4, divide both sides by negative 4. So S is going to equal 1.25. In terms of money, soda is $1.25. So in my box, I'm going to write $1.25 for sodas. Okay, but now that I figured out how much sodas cost, I'm going to go ahead and put that price into the first equation. 2D plus 3S is equal to 775. So instead of writing S, we're going to write 125 equals 775. And then we're going to do 2D, and then this is going to be 375 is equal to 775. Subtract 375 from both sides. You're going to be left with 2D is equal to $4. Divide both sides by 2. D is going to be equal to $2. So 1 drink is going to be equal to $2. So now that I figured out how much a drink costs and how much a soda costs, I can go ahead and answer my question, which says, how much would an order of 2 sandwiches and 1 drink cost? So sandwiches are $1.25, so 125 times 2, which would be $2.50, plus 1 drink. 1 drink is $2, so plus $2, and the total would be $4.50. So that will be the answer. Sorry, I have this correct on my other practice test, but I didn't correct it on this one. My apologies. So the total would be $4.50. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the second one. But just so you guys know, this is additional practice, but I have so many examples of these where I've broken them down step by step and I've explained every single step. Now, these are just the videos that you can watch so that you can get extra practice. I'll even leave in the description box a link to the other videos where you guys can see a full breakdown of every single problem. But this is not going to be that. This is just so that we can keep practicing. Okay, number 2 says, if 10c minus 14 is equal to negative 4c, then what does 22c equal? So 10c minus 14 is equal to negative 4c. Okay, so first we have to solve for c by getting all the c's on the same side and the numbers on the other side. So right now we're just going to be thinking about moving. When we are moving, all we need to do is add or subtract. All we're doing is moving. We're not solving it. So what we're going to do is let's add 4c to both sides. And you're left with 14c minus 14 is equal to 0. And now let's move the 14 to the other side by adding 14 to both sides. And now you have 14c is equal to 14. Then to solve for c, you got to divide both sides by 14. C is equal to 1. So if c is equal to 1, 22c would be 22 times 1. So the answer would be 22, and the answer is going to be C. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to question number 3. If on the xy plane the slope of the line y equals mx plus b is that less than the slope of line y is equal to negative 2x plus 5, which of the following must be true about m? So I just like to write y is equal to mx plus b. This is the first line. Then it's less than, so I'm going to write that in the middle. And then this is the one that we're comparing it to. Y is equal to negative 2x plus 5. So all we really have to do is figure out what is the slope of this line and what is the slope of this line. So anytime you're having a line that's written in slope-intercept form, which this is slope-intercept form, whatever is written in front of the x is the slope. So in this case, the slope is just m. The sign for less than is just going to be that. And then the slope in this case would be the number in front of the x, so it's negative 2. So m is less than negative 2. That is going to be your answer. So your answer is going to be A. So if you get this problem on your test, I would just recommend write down the first equation, write down whether it's less than, greater than, or equal to, and then write down your second equation. After you've written all the equations and the words, just go ahead and identify what it's representing. What is the slope of the first line? What is the slope of the second line? And what is the sign that needs to be in the middle? And then you should have your answer written right there. It's a very simple, easy trick. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. It says, if x is the least of two consecutive even integers, which of the following represents the sum of the two integers? All right, so as a review, two consecutive even integers. Integers just means numbers. Even means even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Consecutive just means numbers that come after each other. So let's do an example. 2, 4, and 6. Those are consecutive even integers. They come right after each other. They're even and they're numbers. So if x is the least of the integers, so x is the smallest, so say x represents the 2, then what would the next integer be represented by? Well, to go from 2 to 4, you have to add 2. So the second one would be represented as x plus 2. So the first integer is x. The second integer is x plus 2. So let's go ahead and add x plus 2. So 1x and 1x is equal to 2x. And then we bring down the plus 2. So the answer is 2x plus 2. Just as a reminder, if this were to say 2 consecutive odd integers, then we'd be talking about odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And again, they're always still going up by 2. So if I had x is equal to the first integer, in order to get from the first one to the second one, you have to add 2. So the second integer would be x plus 2. So whether it's even or if it says odd, the first integer is always going to be x. The second integer is always going to be x plus 2. And then you just go ahead and add them. All right, let's go ahead and go to question number 5. Jasmine has 5 coins worth 10 cents each and 5 coins worth 25 cents each. If she chooses 2 of these coins at random, what is the probability that the 2 coins combined will be worth at least 30 cents? So if you've seen my other videos, you know that I like to draw a picture. So 5 coins worth 10 cents, 5 coins worth 10 cents, and then 5 coins worth 25 cents. And these are huge quarters. I don't know why I'm drawing them so large. Okay. So I'm going to pick 2 coins. So I'm going to have 2 fractions that's going to represent my probability. And it says, what's the probability that the 2 coins combined will be worth at least 30 cents? So think to yourself, she's going to pick 1 coin and then she's going to pick another coin. What are the combinations of coins that would be worth at least 30 cents? So she can pick a dime and then she can pick a quarter. Or she can pick a quarter first and then a dime second. Or she can pick a quarter and a quarter. So there's 3 different versions of picking at least 30 cents. So this would be very difficult to find the probability of all of this happening. But you can think of the opposite. What is it, or what is the probability of her not picking at least 30 cents? There's only one way to do that, and that's if she picked a dime and a dime. There's only one way to do it. First pick a dime, second pick a dime. So if we figure out what the probability of not picking at least 30 cents, then we can work our way backwards. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's just first focus on not picking at least 30 cents. So remember, we want a dime the first time and a dime the second time. So let's go ahead and set up our fractions. So what is the probability of picking a dime the first time? Well, there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 is going to be the denominator. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dimes. So the probability of picking a dime on the first draw is 5 out of 10. Then after she picks a dime, now there's 1 less dime in the hat. So you cross it off and she's holding it in her hand. Now what is the total amount of coins in the bag? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the new denominator is now 9. And so for the second draw, how many chances does she have of picking a dime? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the numerator is going to be 4. So let's go ahead and multiply this out. 5 times 4 is 20. 10 times 9 is 90. We're going to go ahead and reduce that by 10. And it's going to be 2 over 9. But again, this is not picking at least 30 cents. So how do we figure out what the odds are of picking at least 30 cents? Well, if you have all of the chances possible, it would be 9 out of 9. 100%. The same denominator would be the same as the top. So this is all of the chances of just whatever, picking 30 cents or picking not 30 cents. So if you were to subtract the not, which is 2 out of 9, you would end up getting the yes, actually getting 30 cents. So what is 9 over 9 minus 2 over 9? That is equal to 7 over 9. And that would be our answer. So our answer would be B. So again, I've done these problems over and over and over on my channel. Please go ahead and find the TSI practice test list. I made a playlist of all of the videos. going over all these questions one at a time. So I have them as an individual one where you could just watch one question at a time. Then I have many videos where they're in groups, and then I have practice questions as well. But again, you guys were asking me for additional practice questions, so I wanted to be able to offer this to you guys in addition to what we've already been going through. But please make use of my playlists so that you can watch it in detail. And I've answered mostly every question that you could think of in my other videos, so please give them a watch as well. Okay, so we have 2 more questions that are additional practice. If carpeting a floor costs $5.50 per square foot, how much would it cost to carpet a rectangular floor that is 15 by 4 feet? So this is the carpet. It's 15 by 4 feet. 15 feet by 4 feet. So first you have to find the area of the carpet by multiplying. And 15 times 4 is equal to 60. Now that you know the total square footage of the carpet that you need, you can multiply that by the cost per foot. So 60 times by 50, and that would be equal to $330. And so our total would be $330. So anytime you're finding the area of a rectangular floor, wall, etc., you just multiply length times the width and then multiply it by the square footage. All right, and let's go ahead and do question number 7. So question number 7, x to the negative 4, y over y to the third power to the negative 2. Again, I like to handle whatever is in the parentheses first. So what's in the parentheses is a division problem. So again, whatever's on the top, you divide by the bottom. And you only can divide the things that are similar. So if there's an x on the top, you only can divide it by an x on the bottom. So because there's no x on the bottom, there's nothing to divide x to the negative 4th power to. So we just leave it as is. But then we can go ahead and do y divided by y to the 3rd power. So this is an invisible 1 power. So how do I divide that? Well, y to the 1st power divided by y to the 3rd power. You just subtract the exponents. So it would be y to the negative 2nd power, y to the negative 2 power. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this so that it doesn't distract us and so that we can keep going. I'm not finished doing whatever's inside the parentheses because I have negatives. So how do I make those from negatives to positives? Well, right now they can be considered as being on top of an invisible 1. If I want to make them positive, then I have to switch where they are. So because they're on the top, I would have to switch and put them on the bottom. So now I would write it 1 over x to the 4th y squared. Now I've done everything on the inside of the parentheses. Let me go ahead and deal with this negative 2 exponent. So this negative exponent, it's going to tell us to flip again. So it can seem a little silly, but I follow the rules. So now instead of it being on the bottom, I'm putting it back on the top. And now that 2 becomes a positive 2. And then how do I deal with that? I just multiply x to the 4th times 2. So that would be x to the 8th. And then the 2 times 2 would be y to the 4th. And my answer would be A. So with these types of problems, they're hoping that you're just going to get bored with it or tired of it and just give it your best guess. Don't do that because honestly, it's not that difficult to figure out. Just remember, divide whatever is on the inside, and then you divide by subtracting the exponents. Then make sure that whatever exponents you end up with are positive. You could do that by switching whether they're on the top or on the bottom. Once everything on the inside of the parentheses is positive, then you can go ahead and deal with the exponent on the outside. If the exponent on the outside is negative, then switch it again. Even though it's ridiculous, just do it. Flip it again. And then once you have that negative exponent dealt with, go ahead and just multiply the exponents. All right, so again, if you like these practice questions, I also have a practice test that you can purchase. I'll leave the link in the description box. It's not these questions exactly. I think I only took maybe one question from my practice test, but I made an entire practice test for the TSI questions so that you guys can have a ton of these questions to practice over and over again so that your brain just gets so familiar of practicing these skills get a little bit sick of it, because if you're getting sick of it, that means you're getting good at it. So please just continue to practice. Please continue to tell me what you need and look out for the next one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.